Stop scrolling. This Power BI tutorial is your express ticket to building a stunning global sales performance dashboard. See this? That's exactly what you create today. Get ready to master the key Power BI skills: tracking sales, analyzing product performance, and boosting efficiency. Whether you're a professional ready to impress your team or a job seeker building a portfolio that stands out, this project is your game changer. So grab your data set and let's make data work for you.
All right, the first step in any Power BI project is getting your data. For this tutorial, I've prepared a global sales data CSV file, which you can download from the link in the description below. This file contains all the raw sales transactions data we'll need. Let's open Power BI Desktop. From the home screen, click on Get Data. Since our data is in a CSV file, we'll select text/CSV. Navigate to where you saved your global sales data CSV file, select it and click Open. Power BI will give you a preview of your data. Take a moment to check that the columns look correct and that the data types are being inferred properly. This looks good to me. We don't need to make any transformations right now, so let's click Load. With our data loaded, it's time to create some essential calculations or measures using DAX, that is Data Analysis Expressions. These measures will power all the key metrics on our dashboard. Let's switch to the table view to see our data. First, let's create a sales amount column directly in our table to make subsequent calculations easier. So right here in the table view, select your data and click New Column under Table Tools. I'm going to name this new column Sales Amount. And the formula will be units sold from the global sales data table multiplied by unit price from the same global sales data table multiplied by open bracket 1 minus the discount applied column on the sales global sales data table. Close the parentheses and press enter. Great. Now we have the new column created here, sales amount. Now let's create our measures. We will go back to the report view and create them in the fields pane. Right click on our table, the global sales table, and select new measure. Our first measure is total revenue. So I'll give that the name total revenue. This measure will sum up all our sales amount values. So what function do we need for this? The sum function. What are we trying to sum? We are trying to sum the sales amount column in our global sales data table. The sales amount column is here. So have that clicked, close the bracket, and press enter. We have the total revenue measure created and listed here as a field. Next, total units sold. So right click on the table and we want to give that the name total units sold. What are we trying to do with this measure? We want to get the sum of all the units sold. So the function we're going to be using is also the sum function. What are we summing? We are trying to sum the units sold field from our table, which is here. Close the bracket and press enter. We have that listed. Next, total cost. For total cost, this will be units sold multiplied by cost per unit. So the sum of the units sold from the global sales table multiplied by the sum of the cost per unit column on the same table. Close the bracket and press enter. Then gross profit. Let's have a new measure created. We'll give that the name gross profit. What will be the formula for that? We want to get the total revenue measure that we created earlier and have that deducted from the total revenue cost measure we also created earlier. Now we are picking up the created measures directly to use in creating another measure. That's the benefit of having explicit measures created. You get to use them directly in creating other measures. It's neater that way. Now press enter to have that created. We've got our gross profit measure listed right here on the right. Next, our crucial profit margin percentage. I will give that the name profit margin percentage. The function we're going to be using for that is the divide function. Our numerator is the gross profit measure we just created. And the denominator is the total revenue measure we created as well. Comma, and the alternate result is 0. Then close the bracket. The divide function is safer than direct division as it handles division by 0. Whenever we have a total revenue that is 0, instead of getting the error non-applicable, we're going to get the alternate result of 0. That's going to make your report or your dashboard neater. So press enter to get that created. We have that listed on the side. Finally, average deal size. We give that exact name, average deal size. We're going to be using the divide function for that as well. Our numerator is the total revenue measure we created, comma. We want to have that divided by the unique order ID. So to get the unique order ID, we're going to need the distinct count function of the order ID from the sales table. Our order ID is here. Close the bracket twice and press enter. Now let's quickly format these measures. I'm going to select the total revenue and the average deal size measure. So starting with the total revenue, change their format to currency with 2 decimal places. Do the same to the average deal size measure, which is somewhere around here. The format should be changed to currency and the decimal places should be increased to 2. Select profit margin percentage. Change the format type to percentage with 2 decimal places. This makes them easier to read. Now for the fun part, designing a dashboard. We are aiming for a dark theme to give it a modern, sleek look. First, let's set a canvas background. Click on the canvas, then in the visualizations pane, under the format section, expand the option for canvas background. Here, I'm going to make the color of the background set to dark gray or black. Let's see what this looks like. You need to make sure the transparency is set to 0 to see the result. I'm going to have this increased a bit so it's not so dark. That will give it a dark gray color. Here, I'm going to work with this. Next, let's add a little title. Drag a text box onto the top of the canvas. I'll leave the font set to Sego UI. Make it bold. Have the size increased to 28 points and change the color to white. I'm going to have the fill removed later on. So under the effect, let's have the background turn off. I'm going to have a shape inserted to act as the canvas for the title. Have that stretched out like so because it's also going to act as the canvas for slicers later. We want to have the fill color changed to teal using this Xcode. I'm going to have the transparency increased a bit like so. Or let's have it changed to this. Let's see what it looks like if we set this to 90 or 87. Yeah, I think that's good. Let's see if it's increased some more. Yeah, I think I like that as it is. So let's move the title back up here. To keep things organized, let's add some basic shapes as containers for our visuals. I have a rectangle inserted for the main body of our visuals, and then I'll have smaller ones created for the cards. So let's have this duplicated 4 times. And then I'll have another one created for the card on the left side here. It's going to be the left panel, like so. Just make sure it's aligned. We will set their field to a slightly lighter gray than the background. Have the format shape panel expanded. Under style, let's have the fill set to a lighter gray using this Xcode. 2D, 2D, 2D. Then I'll have that formatting applied to the other shapes using the format painter, just to make things faster. Let's populate this left panel with our key performance indicators. We will use card visuals for total revenue, total units sold, profit margin percentage, and average deal size. So drag a card visual to the left panel. We need to make that small to create the first card. Add total revenue to the field, the calculated one we created. Now let's format it. Under callout value, set the color to white and text size to about 30. Under category label, we're going to set the color to a lighter gray. Under the general tab, effect, turn off the background. Leave the visual border turned off. Let's make sure the category label is made bold, like so. And let's see what it looks like if we actually make the text white. Yeah, let's leave it as white. Now I think we should leave the background for the card turned on and give it the same shade as the title background. You can just easily copy the formatting and apply. Have the option for visual border turned on, have it expanded, and let's give it a rounded corner of about 8 or 10. Now I'm going to copy this formatted card 3 times to use for the other cards. Have that spread out like so. For the second card, replace total revenue with total units sold. Let's format that to have the comma displayed. For the third card, we're going to use the profit margin percentage, which is here. Now here's the catch. We are getting a large negative number here for our profit margin. This means our DAX formula is dividing values incorrectly, likely by summing profit but not dividing by the correct revenue total, or dividing by a very small number, causing a huge ratio. Let's figure out what the problem is. This formula seems to be mathematically incorrect for low-level calculations because it multiplies the total of all units by the total of all costs, producing a massively inflated number, which is why our profit margin is in the negative range. We need to multiply units sold by cost per unit at the row level first, then sum the results. Now, what formula are we going to use for that? This is the correct formula we are going to be using. The SUMX function iterates each row of your data set, calculates the cost per transaction, and then sums up all the results correctly. Let's enter that and see what we get. Now we get the correct result. We're getting 41.6%, which looks way better than what we had before. So consider this as a good learning point for you. Now for the fourth card, we're going to replace what we have currently with the average deal size. So remove the total revenue measure and have that replaced with the average deal size, which is here. I'm going to have the rounded corners for the cards increased to 30, just to make things look better. Next, let's visualize our monthly revenue trends. This will be a line chart. So drag a line chart visual into the dashboard. I'm going to place it in one of our main containers. For the x-axis, drag order date. Power BI will automatically create a date hierarchy. We only need year and month for now, so let's remove the quarter and the date option. For the y-axis, drag total revenue. Now for formatting. In Format Your Visual section, under the General tab, scroll down to Effect and have it expanded and turn off the background. Going back to the Visual section, under y-axis, we're going to change the value and the title color to white. Let's do the same for the y-axis. So change the value to white and the title to white as well. Under the General tab, let's expand the title and make that white also. You want to remove the total from the title, so we have just revenue per year. And I think we should have the visual changed to either an aerial chart or stacked aerial chart. That looks way better. Now, still under the Visual tab, expand the option for data labels. Have it turned on, and we set their colors to white. So the values, change the color to white. And let's have the title aligned center, like so. Now you can adjust the visual to sit properly inside the container we created for it. Let's see what it looks like if we don't have the grid lines on. So we've turned on the horizontal, we've turned on the vertical. Does that look better, or we leave it as it was? I think we leave it. Scrolling down to line, we can decide to change the line style to dash, dotted, or make it customized, but I'm going to leave it at solid. The join type, you can decide to have it changed here as well. The interpolation type can also be changed to smooth or step. I'm going to leave it as smooth. And you can have this adjusted like so. You can have the line color changed here. And if you scroll down, you see an option to add markers. So I can decide to have it turned on to have markers added like so. You can change the shape of the marker to whatever you like. I will leave it as round. I mean, there are a lot of things to explore here just to format your visual. Next, let's see which products are driving the most revenue. We'll use a clustered column chart for this. So drag a clustered column chart to your dashboard. I'll place it in any of these containers. For the x-axis, drag product name. And for the y-axis, drag total revenue. To show only the top 5 products, we need to apply a filter. In the filters pane, find product name. Change the filter type from basic filtering to top N. Set show items to top and enter 5 in the value field. Drag total revenue into the by value field and click apply filter. Now for formatting, again under the General tab, expand the option for effect and turn off the background. Under the Visual section, go to the x-axis, set the value and the title to white. Do the same for the x-axis. We want to make sure the value is set to white as well as the title color. Turn on data labels and set the color to white. Turn on title under the General tab. And let's have the title changed to product by revenue. Set font color to white and have it center aligned. We need to have that adjusted properly so it sits well in the container. Next, let's see revenue by region. A donut chart is perfect for showing the proportional breakdown of revenue by region. Have a donut chart dragged onto the dashboard. I'll have that placed at the bottom here. For the legend, let's drag region. And for the values, let's drag total revenue. Now moving on to formatting the donut chart. Under the Format tab, go to the General tab, expand the option for Effect and turn off the background. Go into the Visual tab. Under Legend, set the text color to white. Under Slices, you can customize the colors for each region if you wish to match your theme. So let's quickly do that. For North America, I'm going to have the font color changed to that. For Europe, let's give it this view. And lastly, for the Asia Pacific, we want to give it maybe that. Under Detail Labels, let's change the font color to white. Now going back to the General tab, under the title, let's have the title renamed to Revenue by Region. So remove the total word we have there and set the font color to white and have it centrally aligned. Finally, let's create a detailed table to track individual sales representative performance. We'll use a table visual for that. So drag a table visual onto your canvas. Add salesperson, add total revenue, and total units sold. You can also add profit margin percentage if you want to have it shown per rep. So let's have that adjusted like so. For formatting this table, under the General tab, turn off the background under Effect. Let's make the theme color a combination of teal and white. So I'm going to move things around quickly to make things look better. I'm going to be changing these cards to white and leave this as white. So we just have that balance of teal and white as the theme color. I think it looks way better and structured as it is. I've removed the rounded corners on all the shape just so that it looks more structured. I think we also need to remove the rounded corners on the container shape used for the KPIs. So let's quickly do that. I want everything looking really structured. So let's have that increased all the way to 0. Yeah, I think that looks way better. Now you notice that we have some missing rows here, and that should be because our data has some missing information. Let's filter by salesperson. Yeah, you can see that we have this empty line here. We have nothing showing for region, nothing showing for country, and salesperson. To fix that, we can just quickly go to transform data under the Home tab. This will take us to the Power Query editor. If I do a filter, you see that we have a blank row showing. It's either you have it removed or you have your data updated to fill in something. But I'm going to have it removed. So click on the Remove Empty Rows or Empty Cells. Click Close and Apply. And you can see that we don't have the empty row shown again. Let's have all selected. And we don't have anything empty. So going back to our report should have refreshed automatically and gotten rid of the empty rows. Now, let's further format our table to look better. Under the Style presets, under Style, we can either have it changed to this or sparsed, just to make good use of the space. And I think we should work on the padding as well. Let's increase the padding so it's well aligned on the container. So we only need to work on the top and the bottom padding. We need to have it increased so it's well balanced in the container, like so. Now, to make our dashboard truly interactive, we need slicers. Now, let's test this out. Make a selection of a product name or quarter and watch how the visuals update dynamically. This is the power of Power BI.
Boom! You did it! A fully interactive global sales performance dashboard built from scratch in Power BI. Take these skills and make your next dashboard your signature masterpiece. If this tutorial helped you, drop a quick like, hit subscribe, and tap the bell so you don't miss the next Power BI deep dive. Got questions or ideas? Leave them in the comments. I'm always happy to help. Thanks for watching and keep on dashboarding.